not with the software, if I may say that.
Yeah, the hardware or
it's
the
also
software.
it's with the
operators.
It's the operators. Those guys who are operating
And
the
look,
thing.
look at when
They are the
Mike Dean said, if you remember the game remember the Tuchel Conte handshake game. You
Yes.
remember that game? That something happened when Romero put Carelle's hair. I know. He said that he didn't call Anthony Taylor to the monitor because Anthony Taylor had been having a tough game and he didn't want to embarrass him. You can't have referees behaving like that. The game is not about your friend being embarrassed. Because when your friend gives the right decision, no one is going to remember. You have made it now. He's missed the mistake. And that's part of the problem with the refereeing. The refereeing is you see your friend, you don't want to hurt him. You are trying to, those type of things. I believe, look, this is a professional body.
Yeah.
I get it. That someone is your friend. But the referee should also understand that I'm helping you. It's about the game. We are doing a job. So the fact that he said that, and he was able to say it in the open. I mean, he's retired now. It shows that that's how the referees think. So maybe sometimes what we are seeing is that there's a mistake, and he's thinking, hey, I don't want to embarrass my friend.
At stake going on
I
in
don't
that
want to
moment.
embarrass my friend, though, so let me not do it. So I believe one of the problems is the referees themselves. And look, the referees will never be perfect. Look at the
Liverpool incident that got us hearing the VAR conversation.
And it was common just miscommunication. They are human beings too. So they thought so the VAR thought that they had given the goal on the pitch. The VAR said, okay, so you like the on-pitch decision. They didn't, because he assumed it was a goal. He didn't ask, have you given the goal? He assumed. Because if he had asked, have you given the goal? And he had said no. He had said no, give the goal. That's what would have happened. You see, so it seemed, look, it's a difference.
And then this is where the protocol came in. Have you given the goal? Yes or no? When they realized they had made a mistake, they should have called it back. But they are saying that their protocol will not allow them to come because it was less than a minute when they realized that
it was even 15 seconds.
When they realized that the goal was a perfect goal, but because the game had already restarted, the protocols now told them that you can't
go back.
What? That perfect goal. Stop it and say, no, hold on. We've looked at it again and we think it's a perfect goal. And everybody would have lauded them, applauded them for taking that right decision.
You know, everyone always says common sense. What everyone asks for is common sense and consistency.
Exactly.
But you see, the consistency problem, like I say, every referee is different.
They all have another school of thought is that they all have the team they support. So at time when he's going, the man is sitting there. He knows the team he wants to win and all that. Look at the tweet from Nottingham Forest. He eventually said the guy is support Luton Town.
Crazy. Gabi, let me take your thoughts on. Your general thoughts on how the season has gone bone we begin to delve into the specifics.
I would love to start with the Ghanaian interest. So of course, Mohammed Kudus.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one person who did not see him like doing what he did or has done with West Ham United. Not because he's not a good player, but because it was his first season at West Ham.
We're expecting him to settle down.
Exactly. Switching from one league to another, it will take a player to settle in that quickly that he's done at West Ham United.
I'm proud to say that I was in the West Ham stadium when Kudus scored his game.
And that would have been good.
The ground literally.
No, but you are not there alone. No, you are the
Ignore Nimley.
So let's go. Coach.
Yeah, but you know, this reminds me of the Muhammad. Ignore Gabi's tweets.
I don't understand what Nimley is.
But then it was good sense. It was good sense from the London Stadium or the part of Mohammed Kudus, and I love that connection he's got with the fans every time, even days when he's not on the scoring sheet.
He might be about to break their hearts. I hear he's angling for a move out of West Ham
the performance in general has always caught my attention. It was just like every week you're just sitting to wait and see what Kudus will do. And like I said, even on days that he wasn't scoring, he was grabbing the assist. He was putting in
7 goals, 6 assists for Kudus in the league. 8 goals, 2 assists for Semenyo in the league.
Yeah, and that's a good start for somebody to leave a different league and go to another league and ball it. And I think that it trickled down to some of the players who were playing, some of the Ghanaian players who were playing in the league. So just like you put out the Semenyo's performance was good. I think it's the first time he's hitting that tally of goals for Bournemouth, and it's impressive. We didn't see much of Jordan Ayew. It started when Oliver Glasner took charge. You could tell that he just got relegated to the bench, and it wasn't good for him. That sums up the kind of player he is under Roy Hodgson and that kind of thing.
Jordan has had a decent season statistically.
He had a good season. That was
up
under
until
Roy Hodgson. But when Glasner took charge,
but he's still giving someone to.
Actually, I want to find out the opinion on. I mean, everybody's opinion here about Jordan's future under Glasner because it looks like he's falling out of favor. And I'm asking this because he had just signed a new contract just prior to what changes took place. So I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, you are on the subject. So let me do you think he has a future
No,
here?
I think he'll leave. I think yes. I think look.
I can't imagine Jordan leaving Palace.
Glasner will come in with his players next season. Look at the football he's played. The last 10 games. What he's done with Mateta, Olise, and what?
Mateta looks like a different player altogether.
We are not saying Jordan is not good, but we know the kind of player he is under Roy Hodgson. I mean, Jordan
ball
won't be
winning, backtracking,
most fouled.
Defensive.
Yeah, but
winger.
I don't know. If you're Crystal Palace, those are valuable.
That's why I'm surprised Glasner does not.
The very one game that
If you are Crystal Palace and a Roy Hodgson, those were valuables. But under the current manager, he's moved on.
I'll come to you.
There was just one game where I saw him do a very 1-2 with Mateta, and that's very unlike him. We know Jordan. We know what he
take on Merchant.
He'll delay the ball, look to drag fouls and that kind of thing. That's not Glasner's style.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
They play quicker, more direct football.
Yes, maybe for the long term, or maybe looking at the squad holistically, he can probably maybe use Jordan as a sporadic player, a player who will give him some other options. But I don't see that working. I said, Glasner will bring in players.
Exactly my point, because I don't see it working, because in the hierarchy of Crystal Palace, Jordan is a senior player and he's one of the most influential players in that dressing room. How does that play out?
I think together with Klopp too.
I believe Jordan will be fine. I believe that the coach has used him since he came, and it's also situational based. He's changed the formation. And look, if you have Eze and Olise, those are better for the number 10 role and Mateta up front. We've seen Jordan; he can play up front. He can play in that number 10 because it's like it's a half 10. You know, you're kind of one. He has a role in the squad if he's willing to be coming off the bench.
That's what I was about
and
to
play
say.
as a squad player.
It means he'll take a reduced role.
But you see,
But
Olise and Eze, their fitness too is not reliable.
You see, the fact is, so Olise and Eze are the better players.
But you see, coach, I didn't say that. I said that.
But there's also a big fact that even Olise might leave.
So we are coming. You see, when they leave, that is where what Gabi is saying comes in. This manager will be allowed to go and buy.
I'm about to pull up. I want to pull up a certain
believe
graphic.
that because of how injury prone those two are, because they get hit all the time.
Not to cut you. The last four games of Palace, they were on a very good run, right?
Yeah.
How many times did Jordan play under Glasner? I mean, I think he's come on. He's not been started. First 4 games.
Yeah.
He started off the bench. He was playing like 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
15 minutes.
And then he gradually began to.
It now got down to 0 minutes.
Let me see. I think there are numbers for. There are specifics for how many minutes he's played under Glasner. I'll pull that out for you in a bit, but just finish making your point on him.
Yeah,
and how he fits in this plan.
To be honest with you, I will advise him to leave if the manager doesn't have a clear plan.
So he should
as
seek,
to how.
he should
seek clarification.
Okay, good. Now I
from
have the
the
numbers
manager.
I'm talking about here.
Okay,
so since Glasner took over, Jordan has played 8 games, 0 goals, 1 assist, 2 key passes. Now he's been subbed off in 5 games, and he's been benched for 3 of those games. So since the Glasner era, since Glasner fully took over in the Premier League specifically.
But how many games has Glasner himself coached?
I'll put
Yeah,
that
if
out.
we can get that, then we can know that, okay, out of 20 games or 18 games,
And you see, that's why I'm saying that
And
the Eze and Olise fitness thing, those guys don't stay fit the whole season. They don't. So if you are Jordan, you know that, okay, and Jordan is 32 now, right? Jordan is not. It's not like he's.
no whether.
Yeah,
It's not
he's not a young
he's not
player.
a young
He's
boy.
a veteran, actually.
He's a veteran. So at that age, you know that sometimes your starting can reduce. We've seen Modric this season at Real Madrid. He's a bit old. He's much older.
Is it Crystal Palace? Are you all?
No, but
You understand?
Context.
In context, Crystal Palace.
But that's where he's been most successful in his career.
No, he should go to Italy. I would take him to Italy.
I think that would be a good.
But
move.
I honestly think
That would be a good
a change of scenery will do Jordan.
It's about time.
If he just signed a contract, he'll probably
That's the thing.
wait the contract out.
But
And when
his
you
contract expires in 2025.
that's one season.
One season.
Yeah,
And
so-
should be told you are better off going for a free
is he-
because you can get bigger wages, bigger signing bonus.
So-
I don't think he should rush because
For if we want to see Jordan come good, let's extend it. for the betterment of the Black Stars and what he will do.
He cannot sit on the
We
bench.
need him to be playing actively.
You see, we call bench players all the time, so this doesn't hold for me. We call people who don't play. So if we are going to
we call people who don't play, and we've condemned it. And if you are a team and are going transition, you cannot build your team based on people who don't. If you look at what is at stake, America, Canada, what is at stake?
You're not even done with the qualifier. So
you should not be encouraging the call up of players who are sitting on the bench not playing football.
If we see our players and we see that other players start performing, because that on the bench, because also context, like you said, if someone is on the bench at Crystal Palace, maybe he plays every other game. He's coming on, he's doing something, and someone is in Slovakia. There's a difference in that quality as well. So that's also part of the call-up we should consider.
At the end of the day, we'll go and compete with the best. And you need to be of a certain level, battle readiness to
play with the best.
If Crystal Palace was...
Is it somebody like Bissouma? He sits on the bench.
He's not even coming for the Ghana game.
Yeah, because he's injured. He sits on the bench, but he walks straight into the Black Stars.
True.
As we speak.
True.
If he's a Ghanaian, he walks straight into. That is the difference in class that will be competing against.
So,
Fair point.
Ben, I want to
Fair
say that
point.
if Palace were competing or have qualified for Europe next season,
there will be enough games.
Good. Then I can vouch and say, okay, let's have Jordan play.
Yeah, enough games to
because
go
he can get some games maybe in other competitions. But Palace is playing the Premier League.
I believe because of his contract and the fact that I don't trust Olise and Eze to be fit the whole season.
He will get some games.
He will get some games. Wait it out, and then 2025 he gets a move where he can be a starter.
It is very likely Olise will leave.
Yeah.
Oh, as for Olise and Eze, there.
I think Olise.
I don't think they're selling both in the same season.
Olise looks the most likely because there's a buyout clause that can easily be triggered by any of these teams. Arsenal are interested.
And I
United
think
are
prior to
interested.
the start of this season, there were teams lurking around him.
So I'm sure he will leave.
Yeah.
Now the problem here is that this manager took over this team where they were at a very down point, low point. And Crystal Palace, for so many years, they've not done proper investment in the team. So it will be shocking to me that this manager takes over and not tell them that, look, if I'm able to restore, like...
And remember, he's a Europa League winner with
exactly.
Frankfurt.
He's
not
so he will
not coach. He's got the potential to actually... That's if he gets his signing.
Yes.
To actually drive this Crystal Palace
at least a conference league.
compete for a conference or Europa League.
The Premier League is too because the quality of coaches. Because look, Crystal Palace can get a Europa League winning coach.
Yes.
It tells you something
that is the competition there.
You see the run Brighton had last season.
I've been saying this. So the Premier League is the Super League. That's why Perez tried to do the Super League. He could see the future. This is the Super League. Because can you imagine a team in any league being 12th going to get the guy who won the Europa League 3 years ago and saying, as not even 12, they'll be like 12 now, but someone who's like 15, 16, calling a Europa League. Because back in the day, those are the guys who are next in line for the the Arsenal, United. Those guys can't even get those jobs anymore. Look, he has to go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace at a point, they can tell Bayern, please, get out of our face.
No, it's
100 million for the coach. That's where the Premier League is now. So look, this is the real Super League. So everybody is coming with something serious.
Yep.
So... Look, I understand why Jordan wants to stay in the Premier League because of all of that. But I feel at least this contract, 2025, then he can... Because when you are trying to get a transfer fee and things, if they are not getting a fee they want to, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It limits you because if Crystal Palace... say
how much realistically do you think he's worth? If Crystal Palace were to say, okay, let's prize him.
Oh, 40.
Oh, like who? Jordan
What?
Or Eze? What are we talking
Jordan,
about?
you?
Jordan, 2 million.
I would say 5.
Anywhere between that, 2 to 4, 5
I would say
million.
5. His age, contract...
I would say between 2 to 7 million.
Yeah, that's why I say 5.
And if anything comes calling between the figures we are mentioning, I think the man should go.
Yeah, but does he want to go?
If I'm the agent, at his age, you need to be smart. At his age, if I'm the agent, I think I'll take him to Italy. If you go to Italy, teams like maybe a Fiorentina, let's say a Roma, that is not...
I feel even Roma.
Yeah,
probably
a Roma...
I feel even... I feel he should look a bit lower.
A Torino...
Torino.
Is you. Somewhere
Look at how...
he goes
You see how Andres at Le Havre. Mid-table. Something like that.
Now ball.
Cool, he collects some money.
And maybe he should even go back to France.
I think so.
Or he should go to where Zero is.
Hard sell. We'll see. Let's talk about Kudus
If
himself.
he's in Saudi, I don't want him to play for the
Kudus-
Black Stars.
Kudus-
That one I'll say it right now.
Kudus is involved in the game today. Like I said on Friday, there's been those funny fake quotes floating on the
He comes to do it for party.
he wants to do it for his brother. But quick thoughts on him. We hear that the West Ham ship is a little unsettled based on Moyes leaving, changing direction.
But I believe we discussed this at the Beyond the Season. We talked about Moyes being under pressure, the sporting director.
I didn't expect him to finish the season.
True. But you
But we're
see,
here.
I'm not surprised because I believe that if they had qualified for Europe, he would have stayed. I believe that that's kind of like, he feels like, look, I've not really done that well. I've reached the end. And I believe he's probably going to retire or at least take a step back. He's probably going to look for a less pressury job, that kind of thing. But I believe Moyes was a good coach for Kudus because of the way he likes to play. Because Kudus is a run with the ball type.
Yeah.
Me, I like Mohammed Kudus. I think he's our best player for the Black Stars. But there are some elements to his game I wish were a bit more refined. I believe his decision making and passing sometimes is not where it should be. He likes to shoot a lot. So if you're a team like West Ham where you are not creating a lot of high quality chances, you are not doing tiki-taka in the final third, you're trying to get it quickly from, look at the goal he scored in the Europa League. Was it the Europa League? Where kind of 60 yards. Yeah. That's good in a team like West Ham, which is why I didn't want him to go to Brighton. Because De Zerbi likes to, kind of play with the ball. Those things he does, if you do it in the final third and you lose the ball, the counter-attacks are not fun. So I'm hoping the next manager is a bit more counter-attacking. He's not going to try and, because I believe Ajax, that was part of his problem as well, that the coaches felt that he was holding on to the ball too long. Because that's his strength. I don't blame him to play into his strengths. But certain teams have that kind of DNA. They want you to play, pass, and move. Because there's no way you can tell me Kenneth Taylor is better than Mohammed Kudus.
Nope.
But Kenneth Taylor was getting the games because that Ajax DNA,
He's
that
more
and move,
he's
pass
more
and move.
tactically disciplined.
Yeah, so it's a style thing. So for me, I hope he has a manager who will kind of use that ball carrying, prioritize it in the game plan, be quick. Because even Paqueta has the same thing, that they play the ball quickly. Those guys,
what the young man should be told, the young man should be told that from the way the game is played now, you cannot be only active when you are on the ball.
Is that just a telling thing? Isn't that?
No, he must be told and he must begin to get to work.
Coach, you're right, but how old is Kudus now?
I'm just about to say
how
that.
old is he?
Is it possible
Kudus
for him
24.
Yeah, 24.
Okay, there's time.
Look,
he can be
you
coached
see
for
Mohamed Salah, you see Kevin De Bruyne, you see better players tracking back to help their team when they are not in possession. He cannot be allowed to do
He
that.
tracks back every now and then, and it's not very coordinated.
And the tracking back is not to go and win balls of it's just to maybe come in and keep them. No, you don't do that. Look, maybe because of the impact he's had in that West Ham team, he feels he's Oboro. Whether I track back or tackle, I'll play.
But I also feel
But
more
if he moves, the move he's seeking to get,
you have to
I
track
pray
back.
he gets it. If he gets the move to a Chelsea, to a Liverpool, let's say United, Bruno Fernandes and co tracks back. You cannot say you will not track back. You understand? So that is one part of the game that we need to see him track back when he plays for the Black Stars. That is one aspect of his game that he needs to begin to improve on and get better.
Coach,
Even for the Black Stars, for me personally, the way I see it, sometimes when you have your best player and he's the one doing everything in the final third, the other people are not contributing as much. Sometimes you want him to rest a bit.
It is because we don't have a good midfield. That Salis Baba Idrisi combo is rubbish. We should get rid of that. If we put proper midfielders there, Kudus will not see himself as the one who does who is responsible
doing everything.
No,
I agree with you.
Who will not need to go through him, but can bypass him and get Inaki Williams and co.
But you can do the job, coach. You're right, but I'm speaking about what we have currently.
That is not what we have. That is what Otuado have decided to work with.
Okay, coach. Let me not say what
we have better players.
Okay, coach. What we are playing with. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
What we are playing with is. That's why I understand it for the Black Stars. I also think Moyes too. Moyes, he's not a pressing type. He wants to kind of sit back, soak up the pressure and hit you on the counter. So it works for him in those systems. But like you said, if he goes to a Liverpool or something where they're a pressing team, he can't do that.
Look, if he stays at West Ham,
And they get a coach.
And Lopetegui comes in there. You see, if he doesn't track back, he puts him on the bench. Because if you watch that manager, when he came to Wolverhampton, everybody, when he was the head coach of the Spanish national team, everybody has a defensive role to play. True. And that is the tiki-taka or the Spanish identity says that
off the ball, really,
when we lose the ball, we are even a better team
than we are when we are on the ball.
But you know that's what the West Ham fans are actually craving for.
They want to play football.
They want to play that kind of football.
Yeah, when you listen to them after games, Ben,
it's football fans. They are confused. They don't know what.
No, see, the Ogones and Zumes, these are players Lopetegui will sack.
But Ben, you want to say that the obsession with that football that has come to stay. So everybody's now learning to play from the back. Now look, you watch every team.
Let me ask you: will you be happy playing that kind of football if your team is losing?
No,
I'll take the David Moyes football as long as my team is winning.
There are aspects of the, let me say, Pep's way or the Spanish way, which is more become that dominant way.
Try to do the Spanish
way. There are aspects of it that the modern game has accepted. Whether you like it.
I feel like we ignore Jurgen Klopp's influence in the modern game.
No. It is a combination of the two. You see, the Spanish way had that pressing from the German metallic football. Yeah. Everything blended. That Barcelona team of Pep Guardiola we saw, they were a better team without the ball. Getting the ball back in 6 seconds.
And you know, Messi in that time when Pep was there. And it's only 2015 that he kind of relaxed off the ball.
Exactly.
And before that, Messi
they were all chasing. They were all chasing.
He used to commit the most fouls in the team. Exactly. He was a demon. And he could seriously, imagine Messi is running like Sonic the Hedgehog or Tasmanian Devil. You know that kind of thing. He's just trying to get the ball back from the front. Yep. So what would everyone behind him say? Messi is running like that.
That is the aspect of the modern game that we all cannot move away from. But as to by force, you have to build from the back. You decide as a coach if you've got the men or the players to do so. If you've not got the players to do so, okay, let's go route one. Then we'll see whether we can win the second ball far away from our goal. If we win it, then we start playing.
And right now, the only team that at least last season, the only team that did that was Everton. This season, at least Luton Town have joined them to kind of do that. But right now, everybody is even West Ham. Even though they are more direct, at least when they are starting from goal kicks, they are not trying to. Because a lot of teams feel like we'll lose the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and it just makes it more difficult. But look, David Moyes did a great job. He won a European trophy.
Yep.
I understand why the fans, they are starting to get ambitious. Hey, we've won a European trophy. Let's also play attractive football, you know. But you see,
West Ham,
their grass isn't always greener.
They've got money. They've spent
That's what I'm saying. If you see that stadium they have, they won't accept not.
No, they'll not accept it.
In fact, it will eventually become debt on their head.
Yes,
because that facility is very big.
It's very big.
It's a very modern facility.
And
they need to fill it
every weekend, at least twice a week, midweek, weekend.
They make some money.
Exactly.
Let me get to a few messages and then we'll get to the team by team analysis and break down what each team has done this season. So this one says the EPL has become a farmers league, albeit a packaged one. We all know Manchester City will win anyway, but Arsenal, as always, are pretending to give a contest. Today, City will beat West Ham by 8-0, while Everton beat Arsenal by 7-0. Oh, this one. Shout outs to our Real Madrid fans in Ghana. Courage from Koforidua. Let me read more messages. This one here says, good afternoon, guys. Can't wait to watch this Black Star players, Fatal, Ibrahim, Osman, and Kamaldeen, if they beat Leeds in the EPL. Actually, we saw Kamaldeen in the EPL.
About it, let's shout out Fatal. He had a very good season for Leicester. And I have to be honest, I was surprised because you know he was struggling as sports.
And the championship is not exactly.
It's
easy.
not an easy. I would say the championship is probably similar level to maybe the Dutch league or those or the Belgian league.
Probably been a little higher.
So it's very impressive.
Yeah, Ibrahim Osman, I'm looking forward to seeing actually. Let's get to more messages. This one here says my unsung 11 of the season are Vicario, Zabani, I think
Braithwaite,
Van der Ven, Udogi, Gross, McAllister, Luis, Gordon, Solanke, and Diaz.
I think Gordon and Solanke have also been quite good.
Solanke's had a fantastic season. Actually, I didn't.
And
think,
McAllister too.
McAllister is my team of the season. I didn't think Solanke was capable of the kind of season he's even had.
Well, it's maturity. Sometimes you see when you're a big teams when you're young, they need you to be good now. It takes time.
No, true. Onana, Royal, Mavropanos, Amrabat, Grafenberg, Fabio Vieira, Mount, Reina, Nunez. Guess what? Flops of the season.
I have to be honest. I think Onana is a bit harsh.
But why is Onana there? Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Onana had a poor first half of the season. He picked it up in the second half.
You see, even I wouldn't even say. I feel like it was in the Champions League. I feel like in the league he was okay.
No, he will come good. You see, even if you follow his trajectory when he went to Inter Milan, he had a very patchy beginning. But once he settled, you see, the problem here is that he never had the chance to play with his settled back four. Not even 3 times.
But you see, I think it goes beyond the back four, in my opinion. I believe the structure man you had for a lot of the season wasn't good. They just considered too many shots.
No, but how can you build if the foundation has never been?
But coach, you see, other teams, if defenders get injured, you are moving around. It's not just the defense. I'm talking about being played through the midfield.
Yeah.
Or it's beyond. I think the defense is part. Don't get me wrong. But you see, if you hear stats like Man U have conceded more shots this season than Derby County, the season they got 11 points. That is concerning.
Yeah.
Because, yes, concerning, but because if you are having the Johnny Evans and Maguire predominantly playing, Martinez, Varane not being there, Casemiro being forced to come back, the fact of the matter is they will give chances away.
But you see, coach, even the volume, I feel like it's not even just the defense. We all know that even controlling the ball.
Yeah.
Look at Man U. How often did Man U even just control the ball?
No, but
they used to play teams like Luton. Luton have more possession than them. Are pushing
It is
them.
because of the players I've mentioned. McTominay.
Amrabat is in there. He was a big favorite of yours.
Amrabat, biggest issue. He's not a bad player. His biggest issue is that he never had a preseason. When he came, he's had 2 or 3 injuries throughout the season. In recent times that he's still faced. In the last 2 games, he's virtually been Man United best player on the pitch.
Fair.
I want to blame Ten Hag for their problems.
Let's hold this discussion here because I'll do an individual analysis.
You will come. We'll come there.
In fact, let's start off with Arsenal because they have a crucial game to play. All the hard work they've done could be undone today. And I say Arsenal's season, look, I think Arsenal's season is probably more painful than the Liverpool ones because Liverpool did good stuff. They racked up more points. But Arsenal statistically, like I said, best offense, might have the best defense.
I think right now
the best offense
attack is second.
It's second actually.
In terms of goals difference, they are the best.
Yeah.
Defense has been absolutely rock solid. Most goals, in fact, over 25% of goals from dead ball situations. That's crazy.
Not having a proper number 9.
Yep. Not having a proper number 9.
Even with Shai Havertz.
And having to switch between Raya and his good friend Ramsdale. I mean, it's been that kind of season. They've managed to make it a fight. So I genuinely didn't think Arsenal would be here at the end of the season. I didn't think so personally.
No,
but now that they've made it here, I think that if they don't win it, it will be a crime. But
it's not.
I believed in them.
When it's not a crime.
From last year,
let me tell.
Let me take it one at a time.
It's not a crime. It's not a crime. Why? Because let me just take it back to the previous season. In terms of what Arsenal are looking to do to win the title, they want to win the title. Last season, what was the discussion about? It was about squad depth, mentality-wise. That Arteta was still grooming his squad, and it showed in that game when they lost Saliba. Everything crumbled for them. You get it. Now this season,
I just want to say Rob Holding has been at Crystal Palace. I don't think he's played one game, and he's not been injured. I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Now this season, what have they gone on to do? Squad depth. They take the box.
Yep.
They've gone on to be the stingiest defense. Consider the fewest goals. Courtesy the defensive partnership between Saliba and Gabriel, and that's thanks to what Mikel Arteta has done. You look at the conversation about Kai Havertz leaving Chelsea to Arsenal, that he's not going to fit the Arteta style of play. What has Arteta gone on to do? He's transformed him. He's part of the players who nicked in the goals and taking Arsenal to where they want.
I think that's one of his most impressive achievements this season.
Yeah.
Getting the best out of Havertz, because that would have been
exactly
a big red flag on here.
Havertz has actually looked quite good.
Yeah,
it was crazy to me because we saw him at Chelsea playing a similar role, and it was like
Chelsea he was being played all over the place.
Chelsea didn't know what they were doing.
But he played mostly in strike last season.
That was
and he scored like what? Was it 7 goals?
No, it was 9.
9 all of last season.
Yes, 9 goals. Now, I talk about Declan Rice, to a player who moved from West Ham United to Arsenal. It was the same conversation about whether he was going to fit into the Arteta style of play. Now, this season, he's even gone on to add goals too.
7 goals.
Yes, to his style of play, and that's
right. And right now he's taking corners. Did you know he could take corners?
Some of those finishes will be the envy of a lot of strikers.
He's a very good player.
And so I'll say the factors are many. If we want to talk about it and look at what the last thing he has to deal with is also a manager who is a perfectionist. That's Pep. Even this season, people say that he's not even gone on to have the best of seasons.
Yep.
But he still managed to struggle against Pep.
You see, you go on.
Yeah, so I think, for me, it's a work in progress for me. It would be maybe next season, and they would have to work harder on the performance they've put up this season to be able to clinch.
So you're making an excuse for Arsenal this season?
I'm not making an excuse. I'm only saying that it's a work in progress. I know Coach doesn't like what I'm saying, but it's fine.
Mika, I don't like what you're saying, but it's fine. Talk to me about the Arsenal season.
Look, I think it's been a great season. I know we measure everything in trophies. They are very unlikely to win based on the fact that it's Man City against West Ham at home. I get it. But let's be honest about the progress they've made as a team since Arteta took over. And I'll say it plainly here that before last season, when they finished second the first time, I thought Mikel Arteta was on borrowed time. Because you have your first season, you finish 8th, you win the FA Cup. You don't build on it. You finish 8th again. The minimum you should do in your third season is get into the Champions League. He couldn't do it. So for me, he was on borrowed time. But I'll say now, he's exceeded my expectations. I believe he was going to get them top 4, and someone will have to come and take them over. Now, he has them in 2 title races. I know it's disappointing they've not won. I know we can talk about the mistakes, but look, it's his first job. He's 5 years in management. Pep is how many? This is Pep's 15th season as a coach?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a difference in experience. It's difficult. It's going to take something extraordinary to beat Pep. Because Pep has been in the Premier League, 7 years. This is going to be 7th season. And he's on course to win, his 5th or 6th? 5th. And they're about to go 4 in a row. No one has gone 4 in a row in the history of English football. You can go back to the first league in 1888. It's never happened. And Pep Guardiola is on the verge of doing it. I think we should just let's appreciate how extraordinary Pep is for a second. If you look at Pep's averages in terms of the points he wins per season, let's exclude his first season because that one they finished third, it wasn't as good. Let's just use the averages of his seasons after that. So that's about, I want to say, was that 6 seasons? Just let me do my math. For 6 seasons, his average has been about 91 point something points. Right? That's the average for those 6 seasons. I just want to put that into context. Crazy. Let me even give you a stat to put into more context. You know the most Ferguson ever got in a 38 game season? 91. And I'm not saying it to say that, it means that Ferguson, that's not where we are going. I'm just saying that the standard has been raised. That if someone's average over a course of about 5-6 years is the greatest manager in Premier League history, his best, it should tell you that this is not something that's easy to do. So there's no shame in Arteta, who's a beginner in this job, relatively, not being able to match up. I believe that if he's going to stay at Arsenal as long as Ferguson stayed at United, or even half that time, and Pep goes, he'll win something. But I believe right now, the issue is he can't beat Pep. We saw Klopp get 97 points, 94, 90, whatever, and not beat Pep. For me, there's...
But in those seasons too, Liverpool bottled it. They had a chance and they bottled.
When you say bottled, there are some things that you can't bottle, in my opinion.
Like what?
Because that's what I'm saying. 90 points in Premier League history. Something that Ferguson did once. As in 90 once and 91 once. It's a serious standard. If you are doing that year after year,
I feel like
you can't tell me that...
We can appreciate the greatness in that and also appreciate the greatness in the fact that perhaps the times when those two teams were competing. They were probably neck and neck at a point, and somebody managed to draw their game, and somebody got over the line.
You see, that's what I'm saying. It's because of Pep's excellence that this is happening. I feel we are diminishing because people say Klopp only won one title. It's not that. I feel like we are diminishing
based on what Pep has done.
Yeah, because you see, because right now no one remembers who was second. Pep doing because when Pep went to do 100 points, that was crazy. So I feel like remember what Liverpool had to do to win the league. They had to win 26 of their first 27 games to kind of basically show Man City that there was no hope. Who's going to do that again? 26 out of your first 27 games. So I just want us to just give them some grace. I know it's disappointing. I know it's all like, oh, Pep has done it easy. He does it all the time. But let's give them some grace. For me, I believe Arsenal's failure, in my opinion, is not getting 90 points. Because the max they can get is 89. That's where I will criticize them. Because going back to what I said, if Pep's average is about 91 in the last 5-6 years, it means that you should be thinking about getting 92, 93, 94 to have a realistic chance of winning. If you are not getting 90, I don't want to hear we should have won. That I'm hearing it from some Arsenal fans.
Because that's the average
I don't want to hear. The average now the standard now is 90 points. Pep has won it in the 80s, I believe, twice. So it's because it's an average. So right now, and if he does win his fifth one, it means that his sixth one, it means that the 90 is crossed it 4 times.
Yep.
So it means that if you don't get 90, you have no business thinking you should win the title. So I just want to say that's where they failed for me. But I still believe it's an impressive season because this is going to be, if they do get 89, this will be their second highest in their history. Most games won in the history of their club in the league, I believe, in the Premier League era. So it is a successful season in many ways. But ultimately, because they finished second, we'll be disappointed. But let's also give Pep the credit that he is raising the standard. And we should also give
to match it.
Yeah, it's difficult to match it because this is unprecedented territory. So let's also give people credit sometimes. I know it's fair. Let's not someone didn't win.
And there's good context to it. I like it.
When you listen to Susu and Gabi, I in fact I actually enjoy what they
convince you.
The fact of the matter is
like the fact that you're not
the conversation.
The fact of the matter is Arteta has bottled the league. Look. No, you have to face facts. Coming into this season, the target was to win the league.
Yeah, especially after how they missed out on it last season.
After how they missed out on it last season, and after the fact that he could take £100 million plus
and buy one player.
To go and buy one player. Yeah. The target was to win the league. Kai Havertz, 60-something, 70 million to go and buy. The target was to win the league. And everything pointed to the fact that Arsenal should be the team winning the league. They are the best team not to be winning the league in Premier League history. This Manchester City team under Pep Guardiola is the worst I have seen.
Oh, because you don't do that.
No, I'm telling you that.
I think barring his first season,
they've not beaten any of their true rivals, title contenders the whole season.
True.
They've not beaten Liverpool. They've not beaten Arsenal. Man United. They
didn't even beat Chelsea.
They didn't even beat Chelsea.
They even lost to Aston Villa.
There you go.
Lost to Wolves as well.
There you go.
That one, I'll say
so if Mikel Arteta
and he's still pressing Liverpool and Arsenal's neck.
What? Now look. Let's come down to the sort of football he played. Brilliant football. I like Mikel Arteta is not only about like expression,
solid,
but defensively he has shown.
In fact, he spent time establishing a defensive identity for this team before we even saw what they could do.
He has shown, and you and I know that over the stretch, it is a solid defensive network that wins you the title.
True.
Not how many goals you are scoring at the other.
Do you remember the Liverpool team? Was it Suarez, Sturridge?
There you go.
They scored goals, but
they were shipping in goals.
Conceded about 50 goals. You can't win the league. That
cost them. You understand? So in that respect, he got it right.
Yeah.
Now look at the football. Everything sumptuous, delicious, beautiful on the eye, palatable. What you can look for all the adjectives to describe it. The man was spot on. Then it came to he himself, his in-game management.
Yeah.
Look, the game they lost against Fulham, The game they lost, I'm not going to even talk about the Aston Villa one. The game they lost against West Ham. These were games they should have never lost.
That West Ham actually shocked me.
If you look at the game,
shock of it all.
Mikel Arteta
I would
in-game
even
management.
add the Fulham game they drew. Because Fulham were 10 men. They were 2-1 up.
Look at that.
And it was strange because
And they were playing at home.
And you know what's strange about that? They've been so good from set pieces.
Yes.
And they consider from
set pieces. You understand? So, nobody can tell me that we should clap for Arteta. For all you know,
this is the run you are talking about. So let me just go.
They lost 3 games in December.
Let me just go through that
December.
run for you. So yes, so right from actually yes, so Arsenal Fulham, they lost that game 2-1. Then they went and lost 2-0 to West Ham at home. Then they drew 1-1 with Liverpool. And then
even the Liverpool game, I believe that game was that the game Trent hit the bar.
Yes.
They were very lucky to even get a point in that game.
You understand? And then when you put all these things together, then let's go to the Villa game. Before, at that time of the season, Man City were not their direct competitors or their direct
It was
rival.
Liverpool.
It was their Liverpool. City was third, and it was like for City to get in the picture, it depends on what Arsenal and Liverpool will do.
They had games in hand too.
You understand? Now, Man City plays on Saturday. They won. They took over by a point.
yeah.
Then, Liverpool and Arsenal were to play on Sunday. Liverpool played at 1:30.
Yep.
They lost.
Yeah, they lost.
Then you were now going to play. And it was clear that all Arsenal needed to do was to win, and they opened a 2-point lead on Man City. Because since that Villa defeat, they've not lost a game. They've not drawn a game.
I believe in 2024
Every game.
they won 15 out of 17 or
You
something
understand?
like that. You see, they ran, but that December killed.
So you see,
that is such a
and
painful
again,
run to lose
if you
league.
go back to that game, look at the Arteta combo in midfield. He had Declan Rice.
it was
he had Trossard.
It was Havertz he played
And then
in
he
midfield
had-
that day.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. Partey had come back. In that first half, they created all the chance they didn't score. The moment the second half started, you see that Una Emery had just sat down and tactically
Figured
them out, and he was just bossing it.
And if you see the
Tielemans and then
XG numbers in that game, Arsenal had an XG of 1.52 to West Ham 0.49.
That's West Ham, yeah.
they lost against West Ham. Now, in that game against Aston Villa in the second half, after the first 10 minutes,
Villa
Should have
actually,
made- he should
Villa
have
actually
made
for
some-
West Ham. That XG was for the Villa game.
after the first 10 minutes in that second half,
should
it
have
was
changed
clear that
something.
they were struggling. Mikel Arteta, and even the supporters, you could clearly see them that, the game has changed. Bring on somebody to help Declan, right? Because at the time, the Douglas Luiz and the French boy, there's this French boy that is in the
Kamara.
Villa, Kamara. They were just bullying Havertz and bullying Odegaard. Only Declan Rice, but Declan Rice too.
He can't do the job
He can't
on
do
his
the job alone. He needed somebody to help him and allow him to do the box to box. Partey sat on the bench for 90 minutes. I couldn't believe it. Now, when Arsenal then went a goal down, then he brought on Jorginho, somebody who will not be passing the ball forward, square, backwards. How do you go and win the game? So me, I'm saying it here. You don't take 4 points off Liverpool out of 6. You don't take 4 points off Man City out of 6.
Yep.
You don't take 6 points from Chelsea. You don't take 4 points from from Tottenham. You don't take 6 points from Manchester United, and you don't win the league.
And this is something.
What?
And this is the opposite of what you've been calling Arsenal. You've always said they are a team that are not going to beat the big teams, but will beat the small teams.
And then look at what happened. You see,
this season,
on
they
the
completely
opposite
reversed
side,
it.
Man City couldn't beat you.
Yep.
Between you and Man City took one. Man City and Chelsea, total of 6. They took 2. Chelsea took 2. They gave 2 to the FA. You understand? Between Man City and Liverpool, the same thing. City took 2, Liverpool took 2. They gave 2 to the FA.
Yep.
Then we are sitting here today on the last day of the season.
No, I agree with you.
And you are trailing.
In fact-
and you want us to clap for you.
In fact, even like I've always said, and I'll keep the consistency. Even in the Liverpool seasons when they racked up They bottled the season.
They bottled the season
because they had games where they could have gone beyond Manchester.
Why is it that
Manchester City will draw and
why
they
is
also
it that
find a way to draw points?
Why is it that Pep does what he has to do, and you fail, and then you say we should credit Pep? It's the man is glory. The man, yes, he's part of the competition.
You mean one man's glory is your failure?
That is the thing.
No, but you see, that's why.
You understand?
That's why I
Because-
use the points total to just say that this is if he gets that 89.
Standards have been raised.
If he gets that
Standards have
89,
been raised.
that's still
You see,
Arsenal's second best Premier
Whatever
League
Pep,
history.
True.
if Arteta had done his job, whatever Pep would have been insignificant.
True.
Of no
agree.
nothing.
In fact, even if he managed 99 points,
Arsenal would have won.
In fact, I'm saying that even if he managed 99 points and they didn't win the league, he would still bottle the
He's
league.
still bottled the
It
league.
doesn't matter how many points
You
you
see,
get.
you had your destiny.
I feel like that's a bit too harsh.
It is.
It's very hard. I know you guys are being very hard.
But the truth of the matter is that the Premier League is harsh now.
It's harsh now.
And you can miss out on the title by losing.
But that's
two
true.
games.
No, I don't disagree, but I'm just saying we are being harsh. We also have to be circumspect. That's how I see
Arsenal
it.
came from last season.
And coach,
the
and coach,
experience
I
they
did,
got,
and coach,
the players they brought,
Yeah, but
the
coach,
target for the season. Look, ask all the Arsenal supporters. Their target.
In fact, Arsenal fans,
No,
settle
but-
this
but
for
you
me.
see, but-
Have you bottled the league or
you see,
or not?
But you see, that's why I give the
They
context.
say lonely at the top. Last season they were lonely at the top.
You see, that's why I
It was
give
a
the
single at the
context.
top
I
or
just want to
multiple
say-
at the top. I mean, are you all?
The only part I agree with coach is why I said Arteta, if you don't get 90,
Yeah.
we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Which is the one thing I'll consider. They did not reach 90. And I'll consider that fact that from now on, if you don't get 90,
You have no business.
you have no
discussing
business.
about the
talking.
Premier League.
That one I'll say it. That one I'll agree.
He kept 18 clean sheets. If he were to win all those games 1-1, that is 54 points. And you are not winning the league?
Yeah.
The man has bottled the thing.
Okay, coach. So let me understand. So it means that you want to pin what Arsenal have gone through most on what Arteta has done in terms of game management in some of
Yes.
the
And
His game management was very bad.
Like they should pin it on me.
Very bad.
Because if Arsenal win
Look
the
at the
league,
Fulham
you
game.
will get a
Ten
promise.
against
It's a legit
11.
point.
You
It's
are
a legit
leading
point from
2-1.
Dodo.
You are at home. You can't control this game.
Yeah,
You can't control
I get
this
that
game.
point. It's a good point.
Let's talk about Manchester City real quick. We all say that this has not been as stellar a season by their own standards. 88 points by this time.
Look,
typically,
just before you go on, another reason Arteta has bottled it. Anytime Man City fails to win the league, the last time they did, Kevin De Bruyne was injured a
Long
this
time.
season too.
He had
He's
a
injured a long time.
Yep. And then he came back and just
And just changed the league.
went super sane on everybody.
But you see, even that one, Kevin De Bruyne is second in assists too.
True.
This missing we are talking about.
No, but that's-
when he's
that's-
the small he plays, look at what he's doing.
that's-
So let's
That is why Arteta should win the league. That is another reason why Arteta should
Talk
win
to
the
me
league.
about City. I mean, what has impressed you the most about this campaign? For
Oh
them?
me, we know him. I don't think there's much to be said. I like coach
I
said,
mean,
they are big. They are,
new players coming
they are
in,
big game
having
pep-
to adjust.
I would
systems
say
and stuff.
Foden has kind of taken a step forward, which is good because for me personally, I've not because you've been coming off the bench, you've been seeing you have talent, but
Yeah.
that talent coming off the bench, playing some games here and there, is different from being in the game 30, playing like 30 Premier League games where you start. You are relied upon and doing that kind of stuff. So that's been the one thing that has come to me. Josko Vardiel, you know,
Perfect.
he came in.
Yeah.
He did, you know, the way he started, we ain't sure about him because remember he's a centre back.
Yeah.
Pep has been playing him left back,
Yeah.
and now we are seeing him there running. We are seeing the goals coming. So that's Pep for you. When he buys a player, don't worry about it. The flops, how many flops can you think of he has bought? I'll say Claudio Bravo.
I think Kovacic was getting closer to that, but later he changed.
But you see,
Calvin Phillips.
it's Calvin Phillips.
Calvin
Mateo,
Phillips,
I
yeah.
think Mateus Nunes is a legit flop,
yeah.
Yes,
Nunes
yes.
too.
But you see,
especially for how much they bought.
but I'll
him.
say Calvin Phillips, Nunes, and who's the last one? Claudio Bravo. Those are the ones that come to mind. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who I've missed that's been a flop, generally, because he has a plan. So when you come in, even if he doesn't know what he's going to, he can make something of you. Even Jack Grealish. I had an argument with my cousin about Jack Grealish and how he doesn't take players on. So me personally, I'm not excited by seeing him. But you see, it's the Jordan Ayew thing we'll be talking about. You get possession, you win your fouls, you do your... It's all part of the game.
Yeah.
There's a tactical aspect to it. When he wants someone to come and dribble and do crazy things, he
You have
calls
Jeremy
Jeremy Doku. So he has a plan. And I know sometimes you are not the most enamored by some of the things he does because he's not here to entertain us. He's here to win.
Yep.
And I always say, we have to remember, Pep is one of the most cautious coaches in world football. We don't talk about it now because his team score. But that guy, he hates not being. He wants to control. For him, controlling the ball when he's holding the ball, he knows that you can't score when he has the ball. So he wants his team to keep the ball to keep you out. That is his defensive football.
Yep.
And look at the way look at when his teams go one up.
Yeah.
The tempo goes down. They just kill the game. They kill you by just you are not in the game. So he's a very cautious coach. So what he wants is to assert control and make sure bad things don't happen. They've had more difficulty with that this season. I think losing Gundogan has hurt them a bit more than you'd expect. Because the issue with Gundogan is Gundogan could be players at number 10 and kind of crash the box. Players an 8, help you 8 or a 6 or control. Now you're trying to place Gundogan with Nunes and Kovacic. Kovacic can do the 6 and 8 part, but that number 10, someone to crash the box. They are finding it difficult to have someone to do it. So you don't have that.
So a correction here. Arsenal took 4 points and not 6 from Chelsea. 4.
Yeah, they took 4.
Yeah, a draw and a win.
Yeah.
So
4 points. Yeah,
so
draw and a win.
You see, when they are struggling to control the game a bit like that, you are thinking maybe Gundogan is gone. But look, at the end of the day, everyone is still doing crazy things. Like we said, Kevin De Bruyne, he's second in assist. He's missed so much of the season. Erling Haaland, who has had one of his worst finishing seasons statistically for a lot of the season, maybe right now is back up. He's going to win top scorer again.
True.
It's also, when you look at it that way, that even when their best players are kind of not doing as well, they are still some of the best in the league.
That's why Arteta, you see, it comes down to why Arteta has bottled this thing. Because these people, by far, they've not been at their best.
You see, but even at their best, Erling Haaland is still top scorer in their league.
That's what I'm saying.
Even
you see,
Kevin De Bruyne. And that's why for me,
one thing I agree with you on. Look, I've never been the biggest Pep Guardiola fan. I've been one of the most reluctant to ever give him his flowers.
You're a hater. That's the way. The word is hater.
I'm a Real Madrid fan. I know where I'm coming from. Anyway, I'm just saying that I've never been like one open guy to give, but I cannot deny the immense influence he's had. It's crazy. Like you're saying, from style of football, from what is acceptable as the benchmark for points for winners.
I just want to point something out. United could win the league back in the day with 70-something points. True. It's not, and that's something, I don't say this to diminish. I'm just saying this to say that we're in a very different Premier League.
True.
We're in a very different
times are really.
It's because Pep has come. Because I don't think Klopp and the rest would have to be going to 90 points if Pep was in there.
No, you didn't have to. But that's the standard. That really is the standard now. I think that, like I've said all season, the most impressive things I've seen with City this season, you spoke about one, converting Hoscovadio into a left back for this season. At a point, he even looked like a left winger. Because I was saying that, look, you bought the best young defender in the world, and it didn't seem like you knew what you were doing with him. He didn't seem like he had improved your team until eventually he seemed to flip a switch and went on a good run.
I have a friend when we play football, he says something. When it works, they say wow. So when it's not working, they insult you. But when it works, they say wow.
If you are owned by a country with good money,
I know where you're going with this. I know where you are going with this.
The achievement is expected. I'm not saying this to discredit Pep. He's my favorite coach. But if you look at the way he's gone about his things, the sort of players he's bought, the players he's had to work with, and looking at how
can you blame him?
And look at he's owned by a country, but looking at how good he is, as a manager, the standard he set is a non-negotiable standard.
True.
It is expected to be the standard.
Fair.
I don't remember ever Man City going in for a player and they walking away because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, they've already got always
the Hurricane issue. The man said, "I won't sell to you." They would have bought him.
Sure.
So if you are a Pep, you come, you buy the best right back in the league, in Kyle Walker. You buy the best centre back in the league at the time, developing centre in John Stones. Then you go and get the best player from France, Bernardo Silva. And
I just remembered a player who kind of flopped, Benjamin Mendy. I believe that was a flop.
Mendy
Because he was getting injured a lot even before his issues.
It was because of the injury.
Before the issues came.
But Mendy on his day, he was decent.
When they were buying him, he was
When they were buying him, he
was decent.
I'm just saying that's the one guy I can say that.
Season where he had a good season.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the one guy I can say that we expected more of him.
To pay 50+ million for Kevin Phillips and come and describe him that he's fat, he cannot run, and loan him. And nobody in England, nobody, not even one press,
English press have not
could question the man for more or less destroying, yes, I repeat, destroying their national talent. Because
when you win, no one talks.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
But then he gets Erling Haaland. What do you expect with the empire he's built? Nation state money. They will always do the sort of things they are doing. So for me, like I said, I wanted Arteta. Arteta is crap.
He what?
I like it when you put it like that.
He what?
No matter crap. Why?
It's like a gun.
No, Dormy. You see, the thing was there.
Like he's slack.
And he's slack. Then he's handed the thing over to the man again.
Yeah, I understand.
You understand? Therefore, going forward, Arsenal would definitely have to improve. United, Liverpool, Chelsea. You are owned by individuals. This man is owned by a state, the whole country.
A rich country at that.
Rich country for that matter.
Country that doesn't care if they make profits or losses.
They are just giving him the money.
There's
giving him,
cash.
go and spend. So you want to applaud him that he's been given the resources. To whom much is given,
Much is expected.
in that respect, he's never disappointed. But having said that, look, the quality of football too has been beautiful.
Yeah.
Since he walked into this league,
Charlie.
he's changed the face of the league.
He has.
And I think English football should be very grateful that they had Pep Guardiola
I'm telling you,
come to coach.
See,
because those era of bim, bam, boom, bim, bam,
in
bam,
fact,
boom.
that's another thing. He has teams literally reconsidering their transfer policies.
Yes.
Teams right now look at certain players they would have bought in the past and say, you know what,
No,
this
no.
guy can't pass out of the back, or
So-
this goalkeeper is not a modern day
So
goalkeeper.
forget about
so we
it.
can't buy this guy.
Forget about it. All because of him.
Yep.
And you see, all his fellow, I am told, no, I read somewhere that when they have these coaches meeting, it's like when they get there,
He's revered.
he tend not to speak first. They want him to speak last. We can be about you.
Oh, Charlie.
We can be when you are trying to do more.
That time,
Can you drive you?
Gary O'Neill, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel Arteta,
Pochettino.
Ten Hag, Maganibi. You have to speak first. Since Fergie and Trapattoni and Co left the scene, the rest will have to speak. Then even Mourinho will have to speak first. Then Pep comes because when he starts speaking, you can clearly see that
You have to take out your notepad.
his understanding and his delivery is different from everybody.
Charlie.
That is how good the man is. So you want to congratulate him. I think he's going to win the league thanks to Mikel Arteta again. I need to re-echo that point at every opportunity given me.
Us will come for you.
No, but they themselves, they accepted. Look, yesterday, let me tell you what happened. I was at home in the morning, in front. The man just came. I've told him that the next season road shows, he need to, when the Lille comes, he need to show a class. So
I don't know when this
yesterday,
that's coming from.
yesterday, I was in front of my house and there was this Arsenal brother. You see, when he stands where he lives, so he saw me there with my little girl. Then he came, and then he was like, "Coach, I disagree with what you said. You see, on Friday when you who is the West manager there, I say Mikel Arteta. The guy said, when I heard you said the thing, I was very mad.
Knife in his heart.
But later, he said later after the program,
Yeah.
after Sports Panorama,
he thought of it and
when
realized,
he went through all the things I
yeah,
said,
it was true.
like I said, we should have won this league.
It just hits him with the
They said,
chest.
Coach, whatever coach is saying is true. Because look, in life, if you want to always celebrate second, see that Ghanaian mentality sort of And yeah, dear. Young Winnie cry,
I don't know.
What sort of life is that? I don't do that.
I don't do that.
You see gold medal, then you are celebrating silver.
We don't do that. Big news coming through. Bukayo Saka is out
yeah.
of the Everton game. He suffered a muscle injury today of all days.
Yeah, honestly.
Even his presence wouldn't have changed the
the one thing, another criticism I have of Arteta is he plays this boy too
many times.
Every day. And you see now people are laughing at him that he's limping and things, but they are kicking him every game.
Jurgen Klopp characteristics.
Yes.
You play you till you cannot walk it. You cannot walk it.
I'm sure
goes this season, right?
Gary Southgate have told, they've called him, look, don't do that. You are not going to win the league. If it's not going to you are taken to the Euros.
Yeah. Crazy. So Saka is out of this game. That's a big update. But shout outs to Josko Vario. Shout outs to John Stones. Shout outs to Nathan Ake.
Nathan Ake been solid.
Phenomenal player.
I feel like he
another player we didn't expect much for. We all thought you come and sit on the bench, becoming
he's rather stepped in.
He got his opportunity last season and he hasn't looked back.
He and Akanji.
Yep.
And you see that's what kills me about Pep. If he buys a player that you think will come and sit on the bench, when they come into the first team, they are playing football.
Yeah, Charlie. Man City have done some incredible work. Let's move it on and talk about a team that's stayed on the table now, Liverpool. They are preparing their final farewell for Jurgen Klopp, his final game. And
for me,
it's very emotional out there right now. You should see the footage, man.
I'm not going to talk too much.
I feel
they have disappointed me. They should have given this man a proper farewell.
Oh.
Looking at the fact that with like 8 games to go, they had the league title in their hands. Only competing with Arsenal at the time.
They are the real prime time bottlers.
How could they? I mean,
I think the announcement
against
coach, in the Liverpool situation, whose fault is it, the players or the coach?
I think the players didn't step up to the plate. As in, they kept doing something that was very amazing.
But coach, let me ask this question. So, ever since he announced he was going to leave, so I was watching this documentary. And there was a very good point one of them raised that I think
the timing of the
announcement was wrong. Klopp should have kept it.
Let me tell you what's going on.
So maybe
let me give you context to that announcement. Let me give you context to that thing.
Okay.
So basically, what was happening in Liverpool? In fact, what's been happening is that there's been a lot of turmoil in the background for Liverpool this season.
with the higher ups.
Good.
Yeah.
So what's happening is that Liverpool actually did not intend to announce the club departure. They intended to do it at the end of the season, or almost towards the end of the season. But it so happened that the rumors had gotten so right that it was literally on the verge of becoming public news.
Yeah.
And it would have been even more disastrous if it had come from a media leak instead of coming from the team itself. So Liverpool, according to reports, decided that they would have Jurgen Klopp
Speak about it,
so that it would look like it was something that was planned all along. Because, I mean, does it even make sense to you that Jurgen Klopp, of all people, coaching a Premier League season, knowing the stakes at hand, just pops out of nowhere, out of the blue, unprovoked, to say that he's leaving? And don't forget that Klopp signed a new contract not too long ago. Good. So it just didn't add up that he was out of the blue, out of anywhere, like out of just anywhere going.
I hear the man they brought, he wasn't in favor of that.
In fact,
remember
before
the guy left before. The guy left.
There were reports that
they fell out.
There were reports that they were bringing Edwards back, and that's where all the trouble started. So Klopp basically said that, you have just signed me to a new contract long term. What are these reports I'm hearing that you are bringing the guy that I didn't see eye to eye with back to this team? What sense does it make? And then all the friction started.
But you see, let's also tell the truth. Liverpool were buying better when the guy was there.
Let's
be honest. The owners were right to bring him back.
In fact, Liverpool are better off in the hands of Michael Edwards with their signing. There's zero doubt about it.
So Ben, are you saying all that I'm tired about coaching and that kind of thing wasn't true?
Oh, it's not true. It not be true. If you're tired about coaching, how do you sign a new long-term deal with more money?
Because I was
maybe something happened in his personal life.
So there's that. I don't know about the personal life bit, but what I've been following from the Liverpool,
the rifts and all the kind of
sources I've been reading, basically Klopp was not happy that one, they had not bagged him in the summer the way he wanted, and they only tried to make a late push.
You see. Me
those
personally,
things.
If you go and spend the money you spent on Darwin Nunes, will you give Klopp money after Darwin Nunes?
That is the thing.
Let's tell the truth.
And I think
that's a big question.
In fact, all those things you're talking about, there was the okay, we gave you money, you spent it this way.
What did
You're
they use
asking us for this kind of money.
See much of it.
Good. Why should we give you this money?
That's
so
true.
there was a lot of friction in the background.
Because
In the end, Jurgen Klopp felt like, you know what, I cannot stay in this environment anymore because I will not be calling the shot. So he had to go.
You see, managers will always get signings wrong. Jurgen Klopp is not the only manager to have gotten the signing wrong.
Fact.
All of them, Ferguson, Wenger, you can name them.
Fact.
The fact is, this man is the face of the club. The job he did,
Mike Edwards. He identifies. So he does everything recruitment.
Yeah, he never brought a player that
more like
ID.
President of football operations.
It used to be what they used to have they had a kind of. It was a 3-man committee.
Yeah.
So Klopp, Edwards, and there was a third person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they decide on every player. But remember, Klopp, when it was Mane, Klopp wanted Brandt, and the other two chose Mane. Salah, there were a few players where they've come and they've been very good. I'm not saying that it was
actually Mohamed Salah. Klopp did not want Mohamed Salah.
Yes, I think there was Salah.
He wanted Julian Brandt.
So
and the other guy
he wanted Götze instead of Mane. That was another one he wanted.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that to criticize Klopp that he doesn't know. Those were good players at the time. Brandt is a very good player. But we've seen
Salah.
what the players that came in did.
So it also doesn't mean that if Brandt or Götze had come, they wouldn't have performed.
No, but you see, we are talking about what we have seen.
No, but Coach,
so what I'm saying is that-
hold on. I think this is not even about which player is good or which is not. I think it's more about harmony to work with people who share your
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's about the face of the club.
And
It's
because
about who represent the club's image and all that.
But-
I am the image of the club. You don't bypass me and bring somebody who sits in the back door.
But
And-
you see,
and when I
coach,
say I don't
coach,
like-
when they gave Edwards that same amount of money, who did Edwards bring? I'm just making a point to compare with Darren Nunes to see why they took
You see,
recruitment.
you are only mentioning. That's what I'm saying.
No,
that
but you see-
coaches will always get signings wrong.
Coach, getting a
You're only
30
mentioning
No, but
Darwin
I'm saying,
Nunes.
coach, getting a 30 million signing wrong than 80 million,
Look,
90 million. They are very different.
That
Because-
is the market as we speak. That is the
Let's
price.
talk about-
Coach,
let's
let
talk
me
about-
just finish.
let's talk
Coach,
about
let me just
Klopp's
make my
legacy.
point. When Edwards got that money, he brought in Alisson, he brought in Van Dijk. They give you that money, you bring in Darren Nunes. They look at you like, He brought in stalwarts of the club who have become the backbone. And you brought some guy we are not really sure about.
No, but
it doesn't
You
look.
brought him Van Dijk at what age? Van Dijk, when he came to Liverpool, he was about 27 years.
No.
At his peak. How old is Darwin Nunes?
Oh, he's very young.
So why is the why are we panicking?
25.
But you see, coach, at a big club, there's no room.
I've always
It's a
told
big
you.
part of why Liverpool is not winning.
Yes, but I've always told you he will come good.
Fair.
But you see, coach, you also know at a club that's competing for titles, sometimes that room to grow, and they've bought you to be a starter, is not there.
He's going. Edward is coming.
Yeah.
Mr. Slot
Yeah.
has taken over the position.
Yeah.
We will see what will happen.
Let me, just 30 seconds of thoughts on Klopp's legacy at Liverpool.
Oh, I mean, we remember Liverpool hadn't gone 30 years without a title. They were a team that was fourth, fifth, third.
Won the league.
You see, he won them the league.
Champions
He
League
won
for
them the
There's some
Champions
live pictures coming from Anfield.
He won everything. So look, he's
Can
been
we
a
pick his interview? He's been interviewed.
Yeah, I think we should be able to get that. I'll get that for you in a bit. We are still trying to bring you that Jurgen Klopp final day pre-game interview. Do send us your thoughts 0549 986 996 0549 986 996.
One last time. It's all about me. I hope that's now done until after the game at least. And I told him, but we created over the years kind of a football style, a way of play. this year as well, and it would be really cool if we could show that today. 60,000 in the stadium. I don't know how many hundreds of millions of people watching this game today, and they expect a football game, a good football game, and we have a big hand in that. I said as well, people call it a last dance. It's the last dance of the season anyway, independent of my situation. So let's dance.
Jurgen Klopp says, let's dance. I'm sure he would have wanted this to be a Coronation Day departure. That would have made it even more surreal, even more sentimental. It didn't happen. I'm sure they'll take what they get. Let's move the discussion on and talk about Aston Villa. They are heading to the UEFA Champions League. Unai Emery keeps getting better and better and better. The more money they give him, the better he gets. Quick thoughts on Unai Emery and the work he's done this season.
I just want to say before he starts, Steven Gerrard, they should hire him and they'll sack him again. Because remember what position were they when
they were
Emery
17th.
Look at that. They finished 14th at the end of the season. Do you remember? And they were buying players, they were doing this, and Gerrard kept saying more players. If you had given,
said they should sack guys like the guys named Tyrone Mings, and they should sack all those guys.
What Gerrard was doing, if you give him Messi and Ronaldo in 2015, he finished 8th. And it was very disappointing because it's funny. If he had stayed at Rangers longer and done a better job, maybe he'll be coming instead of Arne Slot. He saved you.
I was just saying that Liverpool fans would have been angling to give the job to Steven Gerrard, and he would have done a Frank Lampard 2.0.
No. Even Lampard, the first season at least, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
You see, but
then they got shaky.
No, but Unai Emery, we know he's good.
Yeah.
Like we said, this league right now, there's no bad coach that you can look at this coach and say he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
The only coach that maybe we can say he didn't do anything proper is Company. The rest, no, seriously, we have to point it out.
Let me just shout out my few Aston Villa team of my players of the season, really. First shout outs to McGinn. I think McGinn has had a really good season.
And there's Watkins, he's leading assists, a lot of goals.
Is double
for me, I think the entire Villa team have actually stepped up this season.
Watkins has been crazy. Like, look at those numbers. Hold on, let me. I need to bring those numbers up because
Watkins, I think, is 19 goals, 13 assists.
Look at that, 19-13 actually.
And he's leading assists.
19-13.
There's a bunch of players on 10. That's De Bruyne and co.
That's absolutely crazy. So De Bruyne is on 10, Palmer is on 10 as well, and then Anthony Gordon is also on 10.
Who's had quite a good season.
Really good season. So Unai Emery heading to the Champions League, like I said, doing better and better. We've spoken extensively about him. Let's move it on and talk about another team that we've probably not talked too much about. Ange Postecoglou's Spurs.
Mate.
yeah. I like Ange.
Very good start.
I like him, but again, his lack of pragmatism.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
That game they had 9 men and he was doing that thing. I couldn't like.
No, but that's what he's done all season. Yeah. It is very proper to have an identity, but at times too, it is proper to look at what is in front of you and see how best you can. Because at this level, take it or leave it. It's all about results.
True.
If your players are there and they are fit and they are ready to go, and you've got a good team to choose from, you go there and coach the team to get them to win football games. Yeah. Now, when you take a lead and you are comfortable in the lead, you don't go and be expansive. What I didn't like about him were the fact that there were moments or there were games in the season where he had something to protect. All he needed to do was to be a bit pragmatic and protect, and he adds more points. In fact, truth be told, he's cost them Champions League football.
Yeah. True.
And
for long stretches, I thought they were the ones going to take up that spot.
Look, I believe they've kept 3 home clean sheets the whole season.
Unacceptable.
Or something like that. It's not good enough. You can't concede down at home.
His injury level has not been that of United or that of Newcastle.
You know, before at the point in the season, they were actually leading the table.
Yeah. They led the table. He went
for the first 13 games they went on.
And I remember they also played. But they also said they played a lot of Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Burnley and stuff. I'm just saying it was a relatively easy. No, I'm just saying it was a relatively easy start.
They went to the Etihad. They drew 2-2.
Was it even 3-3? Was it the 3-3?
No, it was 3-3.
3-3.
Yes.
That was a good result.
It was 3-3.
You understand? So they were even against the big teams. Yeah. He was flexing his muscles.
What's their ceiling as a team? What do they need to do to make it back to the Champions League?
I'll say right now, they are between 3rd and 6th because I feel right now, you know how we had a Man City Liverpool that we know that that's top 2 and then the rest will come. I believe right now we have a City Arsenal situation for the top 2 going into next season. So they need a lot of good additions. I'm looking at their team. Maybe right back. I'm not sure about Pedro Porro, but you see, they spent a lot of money on him.
He's been decent.
Which is what some of these things are. You spent a lot of money, so you have to justify.
You don't like Pedro Porro for a minute.
No, see, Pedro,
I think the problem
he's not defensively
the
solid.
depth and the backup to those two fullbacks.
Yeah.
Odogie and
Odogie
But
and
even
Porro.
Porro, he's not defensively
If you are-
solid that way. But you see, Emerson Royale coming in, that's a problem. Who was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ben Davis.
Porro's replacement is Emerson
Ben
Royale.
Davis is in
But,
his 30s, you know, he's
Udogie
not-
replacement
Royale's
is what?
points was even played as a
And Sessignon.
yeah.
Yeah.
You understand? So
recruits better in
yeah,
the defensive areas.
better, and then he needs to get a cover for the. I think he has a cover for the Dutch boy already.
Van de Ven.
Yeah.
Van der Ven, in the guy he bought from
Ragusin.
Italy. Ragusin. But they will need another centre
Romero.
back. I think they need 4 solid centre
And the
backs.
style of play too, coach.
I'll say the forwards. I'm not sure about Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. Johnson at least is young, so there's
Rather,
room to
they
grow.
should be looking at Richarlison. Give him a competition. If he's not good enough, you ship him out.
But you see, that's why even Son has started playing up front
There's
now.
a good chance they signed Werner permanently, actually. I don't know if he impressed them enough, but talk to me about Chelsea. Chelsea were trying to do a late rally.
It's been a good late
Yeah.
rally.
Good last 4 games. Yeah.
Somebody
and
says that
Pochettino.
if you had given Chelsea a couple more games,
they need to extend. Let's add 12 more games. Chelsea will win. The league.
No. If you, I feel no,
I mean,
truly,
because
if
you
you
know,
added
Ben,
more
to be
games, they would
honest,
have been closer.
look at the
to
stats.
that.
They,
Chelsea-
you see,
Chelsea
when they are daydreaming, they'll be doing what?
You can't say that. But
What are you talking about?
No, but
It's just by the
Chelsea are
make
part
your
of
point.
the 3 teams that have been good
Yeah. In the
since
last
the 10 of the year. You get it. So I mean, if you want to extend it by 5, and that's not going to happen.
So you just
They've been
talk
good.
Tell me
But
about
it-
what
it just-
Chelsea should do in the off season.
In the offseason, I think Pochettino still needs some players. Yes,
we are
it's criminal.
hearing-
No, it's
We
criminal.
are hearing.
No.
Just before you come, but we are hearing there's problem with his job. Oh.
That's another one that needs to be
on it,
sorted.
if
But
I
I
hear
think
you-
he'll stay.
If Chelsea
No, I don't-
sack Poch at the end of
All their progress
at this
right
time,
now-
it means that they are not
Right now,
not
the
essential
problem
team.
is that
No, I don't think Chelsea will sack him.
he's telling them he will not accept they buying any players for him.
No, that's what you should
And Todd Bowley too, with that Americanized
then they are
idea.
heading for a coalition.
And you see, if you watch Pochettino's demeanor in the last 3 press conferences he's done, he's not like the fact that his future is up in the air.
But you see, he also signed
he's-
a short contract.
Yes.
2 years.
2 years.
In terms of
Yes.
the project, dealing with young players, he's the best man
But
for it.
it's very. I'm saying it will be very unwise to keep a manager till this point of the season
And sack him.
and
I
then
agree.
you're not going to
Yeah.
hire a new manager.
I agree.
They want him
Don't make no sense.
They want him to renew the contract. He's also seeking certain clauses in the contract.
He should.
And because they are unwilling
Yeah, he should.
to hand over
He's-
those
he's-
clauses
he's-
in his favor,
People like to talk
He's
about
likely to
people
leave.
like to talk about Poch like he's some Graham Potter.
Yeah.
He's
No, he's far better than
he's
Poch.
many tiers higher than.
I have to say,
But-
if Poch is able to continue, the project is finally looking good. There's some promise now.
I mean, he needs to continue next season. Now, I mean, somebody will say it's a bloated squad, but now they have what? European competition to play next season.
Yeah.
And that would help some of the
Not
players.
guaranteed yet.
Not guaranteed, yes. I know. That would help some of the players because I was just about saying that they need to
Yeah.
ship off some players who are not too good.
And then
There are
replace.
some players in there who are not good
I
for
think-
what he
I
wants
have
to
a
do.
question I want to ask the panel. We have been seeing this, the new propaganda is when Enzo doesn't play, they win more games.
It's true.
What do we think?
that's an absolute
Coach-
rubbish.
Coach-
What do you
says
think?
he's
What do you
like-
think about Enzo? I just want
Look,
to know
he's
from
a
the panel.
fantastic midfielder. This boy has been playing with pain. Is it
he's got lots of
what
pain.
what most people don't get is that when you have a player sacrifice like he's done, being injected every day to play for Chelsea, you don't classify him as a bad player. And even if you look at him in that Chelsea team, maybe 1 or 2 games he didn't show up, but in every game he was present.
I think he's one of those guys who gets judged by the fact that he's won a World Cup,
Yeah.
which
And
he
then
didn't-
two,
which
the
he didn't
price
win
tag.
alone,
Exactly, and the
then
price
the
tag.
price tag.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah,
been
he's a
like
good
that.
player.
The main
I
thing
agree
is
with
the
Coach.
price tag. If you pay that much for a player, and it seems like you are winning
He
more
wants
games
goals and
when he's
assists every
not even goals
time.
and assists. You are winning more games
when
when
he's
he's
not
not
around.
playing. It looks
Exactly the point,
Always,
but
always,
that's
yeah.
not too good. That's not good, too good for him.
Let's. I say that they get
me
a
just say this,
they get a good striker and they'll be good to go.
No, I think
They need defense.
they need another solid center.
Yeah, they are losing Thiago
very
Silva.
experienced center because look, those Disasi, But she
What's the other guys? This guy, he hasn't played football like 2 years.
for fun.
Oh,
Wesley
Wesley.
Fofana, yeah.
It's so bad. He's such a
For
good
him,
player.
he's suffered a serious
ACL,
ACL,
yeah.
then some other injury. So he may not.
Almost 2 years.
He will
now.
never become the same player again. So they need another centre back. They shouldn't go for a kid. They should go for somebody very
But
experienced.
Tolboli said
Bit
we are,
of
we are
experience.
doing academy, we are doing development.
Not
Okay,
serious.
then
He's
you
just-
know
he's
when then of course
He's not serious.
they should get a proper number 9.
Let's breeze through the.
I agree.
Let's breeze through the list so we can open the phone lines
You know
at
how to
least.
breeze. There's a team we have to talk about.
Oh, we'll talk about everybody. Don't worry. Let's talk about Newcastle United. They are in 7th place going into this game. Let me take thoughts on Newcastle. The kind of season they've had, they've underwhelmed me.
Disappointing.
A lot of
Very
injuries.
disappointing
A lot
season.
of injuries.
I think it is another team whose season completely destroyed by injury. Completely destroyed. Because look, there was the likes of the big Brazilian midfielder,
Joe Linton.
Joelinton and Almiron.
And then Tonali was supposed to
Tonali.
come and
Better
add.
injuries.
So yeah, so even
Got so many
defensively,
things.
they lost some of
If
their
you see
key
the
players.
centre backs they are playing now, I saw Emil Kraft.
Yes.
Who's a right back? Who's
And
even
he's
their
playing-
backup
So,
right back? He's playing centre back.
Injuries, in my view, destroy Newcastle
So
season.
Eddie Howe gets a clean slate for next season.
Yes, he should.
I think
has to
that's
stay, yeah.
I think that's about. Let's talk about the team you want to talk
I
about
won't talk about them.
in Manchester United and the season they've had. Shout outs to Kobe Mainoo because I didn't think in my wildest dreams that he was going to have a breakthrough. season.
Arteta is talking. Do you want to listen to him?
No, I don't think we won't hear anything from Arteta now. He's spoken all season. Let's talk about United and the season they've had. 55 goals scored, 58 conceded. That's the most worrying stat for me from what
I know coach should disagree and say
You
injuries
make your
and
point. When I finish, I'll
I'll
make my
tell
point.
you right now. I blame the coach because even with a certain level of injuries, there's
Yeah.
a way they are playing. They are so open. It's beyond just the injuries. Because like we talked about Newcastle and things, when we see Newcastle playing a certain way, we know okay, this is due to their structure and things. The reason I'm so harsh on Ten Hag is last season it wasn't like this. And that's what I'm saying. They had less injuries last season, don't get me wrong. But they've gone from a team that, at least at home, they were very difficult to beat. It doesn't matter home or away. They are just so open.
A team that is just open to.
Yeah, and that's my
Conceding goals.
criticism with Ten Hag, because you would think that, okay, let's take it to the next level. You've had a very good start. And I also blame some of the players. I believe someone like Marcus Rashford. His form has really let Ten Hag down because you've gone from about 30 goals last season. Has he cracked 10 this season?
Not even 9.
You see, so that I can also give him credit for, but there's also other things. I'll say one of them, his insistence on playing Anthony. That's another problem. And I know coach will say everyone has transfer
No, but
flops.
Anthony hasn't played that much this
and
season.
a lot of United
But you
fans
see-
seem to even
Anthony
bring
has
that-
not played that much this
Hold on,
season.
hold on. A lot of United fans bring that into context because they say Ahmad played just a couple of games towards the end of the campaign,
And he's fine with that.
he's looked clearly
And-
better
and
than
this
Anthony.
is part-
This is a
and this is
player.
part of the reason
This is
he
a
came
player. This is a player who got 2 serious injuries. Ahmad injury kept him up for the entire first round of the season, and then he got injured again. You don't just rush him
Right.
back.
So- fair.
And I believe, and that's even what even contributed to this Jadon Sancho thing. Sancho was seeing Anthony doing it and felt he should
Forget
play.
about him.
But you see, I want to also I know coach is going. I'm just also going to clarify that Sancho himself, he didn't take responsibility in that situation. Even though you could see Anthony was not doing well, that is not how you win your place in
No,
the
but
team.
even he Sancho himself, when given the opportunity, how well did he perform?
Better than Anthony for sure.
Not true. Not true.
No, so where do United go from here as a team? I mean, we've all seen their errors. Conceding too many shots at goal, conceding too many goals, and not even scoring enough goals as well.
Well, you see, and another thing, their transfers. I believe Rasmus Højlund was a mistake. In the sense, coach, let me finish. Let me
disagree.
Let me land. Let me land.
Who disagree?
I
So
disagree.
Let me land.
defend your
Højlund,
point.
You see, where United were, they should have gone for a striker that was ready now. Højlund was not ready now. If you watch Højlund last season, he scored 9 goals in Syria. If you have 70 million, pay for a striker who scored 9 goals in Syria, and he struggles this season, it's to be expected. He's a young player. My issue is that if you are buying Højlund, another more experienced striker should have come with him. That could carry some of the load. It's not that I think he's a bad player. I think he will come good.
So somebody to help him.
But
Yeah.
the timing was just not
I
right.
feel like
Is
they
he-
put a lot of responsibility on his
his
shoulders too. Because even at Atalanta, he wasn't a starter at Atalanta.
Maybe the plan was
You don't blame-
to work around Marcus
You don't
Rashford.
blame Ten Hag.
I'm not blaming him for that transfer. I'm
Uh-huh.
saying that's a mistake United made. I said Harry Kane, they should have gone all out, in my opinion.
Instead of spending 75 million on an unproven youngster.
Yeah, and that's why I said I think Højlund will come good. But last but not least, I believe, and I'll say this because I'll stand by it. I think Ten Hag should be sacked. On balance, no, seriously, on balance, he should be sacked. But we also have to be realistic about the quality of candidates who are out there and the direction the club is going. I know coach is going to say that there's no structure. Eunice is coming in. And
why are you thinking of what I'm saying?
I'm not saying it. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying he's entirely wrong. Those things do matter.
Yeah.
But you see, in this performance business where the margins are thin, you are running a business. And Ten Hag comes in with such a promising first season.
Yeah.
And this season goes the way it goes. It's very difficult for me to justify him staying in his role. Because like I said, the same way when Arteta came in and finished 8th the second season.
You thought he should have been fired?
I thought he should have been fired.
Fair.
So I'm going to be consistent in what I believe is a sackable performance. And Ten Hag had a sackable performance.
So you just sat here and admitted the fact that Newcastle's season
was derailed by injuries.
But Newcastle overachieved last season.
I'm coming.
I don't think United overachieved.
United overachieved last season.
You think
because they had just come from their
team,
worst ever.
In the context of their
of
season,
course,
they
overachieved last season.
No,
No.
I'll let you go. I just want to ask you a question. So based on their squad quality, where would you have expected United to finish last season? Since they finished third, and that's
last season, nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, so I just want to know where you expected.
Ten Hag was coming to coach for the very first time. We've not seen Martinez whether he will
Champions League football was minimum.
Which they got.
Yeah, so that's what. So how is that overachievement?
That was overachievement because they had come from the West ever season.
But if you say if that's the minimum, how is it overachievement if they got
I'm saying that.
Fair.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Coming from your Worst ever season. You are lucky if you get Champions League football.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question. Where did you have Where did you think? Yes,
maybe Europa League.
Okay, that's what I wanted to.
We don't have too much.
So you see, look, I'm not going to go into that, but you see, United cannot sack Ten Hag. They should not even think about doing it, even if there were proper candidates out there. They shouldn't do it.
Even Thomas Tuchel.
They forget about him. He's coached the worst ever, the most talented team in the Bundesliga. He's coached them to the worst ever season.
Coach, he's not your friend again.
Oh, he's my friend, but he's messed up. The point I'm making is that we saw Mourinho, we saw Van Gaal, Ole, Rangnick. We saw all of them. The United problem now, as we speak, is not coaching. You listen to Wayne Rooney, you listen to Rocky. Now all the players, Gary Neville, who was like Ten Hag, like that. Now they've all gone. They've done proper assessment of the situation. Get him to work under a proper structure, which is being done. But Wayne Rooney there, he said, sack any player who has been in the team for more than 6 years, sack him. And leave only Bruno Fernandes and build the team around Bruno Fernandes, which includes Maguire, Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Rafael Varane, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. He shouldn't be allowed to come back. He should get out. All of them sack.
Oh, Jadon Sancho.
Yes, I'm a fan. I'm a fan anymore.
Oh, Charlie.
When you sack those people, United currently, they need to bring in at least 3 centre backs. Because there's only one centre back. That is what? Lisandro Martinez. Get 3, let Lindelof go. Johnny Evans will go. Varane is already gone. And then what? Maguire, let him go. Bring 3 centre backs. Get it right. United should be buying close to 7 to 8 players. If Chelsea can buy 14 to 15 players in the season, in one transfer window, United can do same. To change the face. Ten Hag, you give him a young team like Menu, Garnacho, Ahmad, Højlund, Bruno Fernandes behind and supporting. You know, they should, if only they can bring Mason Greenwood back. That would be the icing on the cake.
Let's do one-liners on what the team should be doing. Let's do West Ham United. What do you expect them to do based on the kind of campaign they've had?
Well, you see, with this new coach, a lot of change because
they have to change the face of the playing body.
This team is built for more, so changing it for Lopetegui will be hard. So it's a process. It's a process.
West Ham, they've got good money. to spend. Maybe 10 million, 50 million, Ogbonna, Zuma, Soucek. They are all the show clear.
Brighton and Hove Albion, they say De Zerbi
he's leaving. Yeah.
He stepped down at the end of the season. Where do you reckon he's going, and what do they do with their franchise now?
I heard he's going to Bayern.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big mistake, but that's my opinion. I'm not particularly a fan of De Zerbi, but that's just me.
I think he may do well at Bayern. Because from the way he plays his football.
Bayern are a very impatient team.
No, yes, but from the way he plays his football, if the Bayern Munich players don't look at him as a very young coach, but it's buy into his ideas. Look, that Bayern Munich team is extremely talented.
Yep.
And extremely player powerful. Because
that's what I'm saying.
They got Ancelotti sacked. They got Ancelotti sacked.
That's what I'm saying. If they can buy into his idea and accept him on board, the people who make the decision in Bayern Munich, I will be sacking Thomas Muller by now. He's been there too long. He's turned himself into a politician.
Full blown.
He's there too long, so he should be getting the sack. Maybe Neuer. Yes.
You see, Neuer, he's good, but he's still a politician.
Yeah, he's still a politician.
And that's their problem.
But if he becomes the only politician in the team, you can get him on your side and work with him as a coach because of his years of experience. But Thomas Muller like this, Bayern will have to get rid of him. So yes, is De Zerbi? Yes, I think given the chance, he will do well at Bayern Munich.
I wonder what direction Brighton will go in.
They should go for company.
They are very analytics based.
You see, company. I believe he's ruined his reputation. He needs to go.
No. Burnley, I think they should go for company. If Brighton goes for company, he'll do a decent job for them.
I think, well, maybe, but for company, I think the best go back, get promoted again, actually survive.
They need to recruit for company. Company's recruitment is his problem. He plays real life football like you and I play football manager.
You know, my friend said, if you decide to play like Pep without the right players, you are just waiting to lose. You are just playing to lose.
If we look at what company is doing at Burnley, the sort of football he wants them to play.
I think Brighton has a foundation.
That's what I'm saying. They just need to recruit for him.
I think they should bring Graham Potter.
You leave him to his graces, he will go and bring you every wonder kid in the Jupiler League.
I think they should bring Graham Potter back. Well, I don't think they can do West
I think he will get a job soon. AFC Bournemouth, good season so far. Where did they go from here?
They had a bad start. He lost his first 9 games, but I picked up. So look, there's promise there. Let's see what they do.
Russell Westbrook came to the stadium and everything changed. Don't ask me why. Crystal Palace Football Club. We've spoken extensively about Glass9, what he's done. Obviously, one of the more enterprising coaches in the league. Next season will be a big proving ground for him.
It's about what they really want to achieve. Yeah. Over
the
years,
they
have been a mid-table team.
Remember we spoke about this earlier. That you said you thought they might get relegated.
Because if Olise,
no, that's what you're saying.
Eze and people were to leave and they don't invest.
Every team that has become comfortable with being a mid-table
we saw it with Southampton.
Eventually gets relegated, especially if they don't upgrade their ambitions.
As for Southampton, I don't want them to qualify.
No, Southampton, their problem was they kept selling their best players.
And they were not investing. They were not reinvesting.
Exactly.
Even Palace is, look at how long they kept on to Zaha. They are not
eventually
their best. They are not sell their best players.
They were even holding on to Roy Hodgson. Even Roy Hodgson, they didn't want to let him go. Anyway, Wolves, Gary O'Neill doing a wonderful job.
I have to say he's actually been the person that impressed me the most relative to what I expected from him. I thought by November he'll be gone, so I'll eat the humble pie on that one.
Wolves are operating on a very thin squad. They need to buy players.
And they need to back him up. And again, injuries have really hampered his season.
About to say Matheus Cunha, he's impressed me. I think this
has been a good season
because
for him.
I believe the Polons, people expect him to come and be a striker like Raul Jimenez, but he's more of a number 10, play with other attackers, and he's looked good. So sometimes it's what people expect and what you actually.
He was doing a lot of what Nunez has been doing this season in the previous, wasting a lot of good chances.
But it's not because he's not a goal scorer in that way. So
this season he's come into his own. Fulham. I think Fulham had a really good campaign this season.
They were up and down.
Lost Mitrovic. They thought their season was going to crumble after that.
Couldn't recover. I think if he had stayed, they would have pushed for Europe, maybe a conference league football.
Rodrigo Munez is quite good.
And the guy, that Munez's guy, at the beginning, the coach wasn't sure about him. But once
inserted him properly, and then that was the end. Everton.
You see, let's add 10. Let's add 10 to see where they should have been. because I think we have to add that
So
context.
10 points would take them to 50. Now 50 would have taken them to 10th on the table.
Decent.
Yeah, he's doing what he.
Shandaks have done a
He's
good
very
job
good
with,
job.
I think
very
Sondheik-
limited
I
resource.
think Sondheik is a top 5 Premier League manager.
No,
It's-
I
it's-
believe
it's-
it.
it's
Pound for easy. When they say pound for pound, yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Top 5 Premier League manager for me. Brentford.
People don't tend to like him because he's still
The style of
old
He's a
fashioned.
bit. He's a different.
And the style of football he plays.
Yeah, old fashioned. The David Moyes style of
Quick
football.
thoughts on Brentford.
They also had a lot of injuries because Wissa, Mbuemo, then
Ivan
Tony's
Toney.
ban. So they had a lot of issues, but I mean, they want to survive.
They've done well
And
to
Thomas
stay in the
Frank
league.
he did okay. So let's see them next season with everybody.
Forest were unstable, flirted with relegation some way,
But you see,
somehow.
Forest
managed to
is
keep
like
up.
Forest is similar to Chelsea now. You bought all these players.
Bearded Nuno Esprinto. He's
But,
my
let, but
good
let's
friend.
but let's shout out what's his name, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think towards the end he's
Yeah, he's
picking
done
up.
well.
Second round of the season, he's been pretty decent. Taiwo Awoni is just tailed off, kind of.
But he's also not been playing. But Chris
been
Wood has.
injured.
But
He was
Chris Wood,
injured.
but Chris Wood was scoring.
He's bad. He's a bad
He
man.
was
There's some
scoring.
game where he was.
It was the City game that he.
Zuku Banza.
Anyway, let's talk about the relegation, guys. Who's been the biggest? I mean, they've all been disappointing, but
I
the
would say,
most
no, I'll
disappointing.
say Luton has been
I think
impressive.
they've-
Because
they've
I
been
thought
very
Luton,
unlucky.
Luton would have. I thought Luton would
They've
have
been
dead
very
last.
unlucky.
Because if you look at their squads of all those teams,
They have
Luton
the
have
worst.
the worst squad, but they've put up the most fights. I'll say Company has been the most disappointing. Because they
Yeah.
won the championship.
Very
They won, was it
stubborn.
100 points? So you expected them to come and actually
Very
shake
stubborn.
things up.
Came and scored only 40 goals and
He had to
conceded
change.
76.
He had to change.
But Sheffield have been the first team to
101.
Yeah, so they have
Actually,
just been.
yeah,
And remember
disgrace.
Chris Wilder, the first time he was in the Premier League, they were something, but this time he's come and it's just
Oh
disaster.
man. Well, let me read a few messages, then we'll get into the game day action. Our feature game is Arsenal Everton, by the way. So we'll be taking you around the various grounds as and when there's a goal somewhere or something influential happens somewhere. We'll bring you the action. Let me get into my messages. This one says, afternoon, my favorite sports crew. When some of us needed coach to ginger us through the thick and thin, he deserted us and is now back in the dying days. It's all good. Ten Hag must indeed stay. Man United shall really come good for sure next season. Kweku from Abloman. Inside Sapiman with that one. This one here it says that on Sang 11, I think I did this already. This one says that per the analogy, then Arteta has extremely overachieved, comparing him to Ten Hag. This one says that expectations was fifth last season in all honesty. Okay. This one also says that fast forward 2022, Jurgen Klopp resigned from Liverpool. Klopp was the last manager to win the Premier League with Liverpool to break Man City's dominance. Okay, I get what you're trying to say. This one also says, good afternoon, City Sports Crew. You've done an amazing job throughout the season, as always. Kudos to every one of you out there. Till we meet again next season. I hope Man United will give me juicy football come next season. Shout outs to all my football friends. Perlo, Sporty, Knowledge, and Amponsa. Till then, your Donkomi is next. Okay. I'll read a few more. And then somebody says the bottom days are setting in, but I hope Kudus makes a statement against City. Do you all think Kudus will move at the end of the season? I think there will be legit opportunities for him to move. I don't think he will eventually take it. Let me read more messages coming through. Yes, this one says, hi Ben and team, I've always listened to you guys, but this is my first time texting. I love listening to you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. Where did Susu Graham go? I missed his analysis. Skipper Da Vinci. Susu Graham has been away, actually. He's been in school. He's just visiting us a little for the final day of the season. So many messages to read. I'll read a couple more. Kwesi Inside Kaswa says, good afternoon Ben and team. Arsenal to win the leg. To win the league, you mean they will hammer Everton, and then the Hammers will worry City today. Okay. More messages. Wow, so many messages actually. This one says, could we argue the Premier League has also reduced quality comparing to Ferguson's Mourinho's time? Would Pep win 4 in a row if there were SN Pauls? Well, it's very difficult comparing different eras, to be honest. That's also a very legit argument about what would have happened in what era or what wouldn't have happened, but it's neither here nor there. Let me get through the starting lineups for our feature game and then we will join the action. So Arsenal have Raya in post, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu, Partey, Rice and Odegaard, Trossard, Havertz, and Martinelli. Everton have Pickford in post, Coleman, Tarkowski, Bryant White, and Young, McNeil, Onana, Ghana Gay, and Ghana, Doucouré, and Calvin Lewin. So that's how it's looking like. It's the final day of the season. Everybody playing at exactly the same time. Future game is at the Emirates. It's Arsenal Everton. Let's join the drama.